Have you ever felt stuck? Like your mental well-being is a fixed point, a label you're assigned for life. So many of us believe that if we're told we struggle with depression or anxiety, that's just it. A permanent state. A life sentence of coping. But what if I told you that's not true? What if I told you there's a different perspective, one that puts you back in control? Imagine a dimmer switch, not a light switch. Mental health isn't simply on or off. It exists on a spectrum. Sometimes the shadows loom large, intensely impacting our lives. Other times the light shines brighter and those shadows fade, barely noticeable. The remarkable thing is, we're not powerless against those shadows. We can actually shift that dimmer switch. We can chip away at the darkness and reclaim the light. That shift, that agency, is where true hope begins. And it's not just hopeful thinking. Research backs this up. It's profoundly empowering to know that we have the capacity to influence our mental state in significant ways. Consider this. Regular aerobic exercise can alleviate depression and anxiety symptoms in over 75% of people. Really let that sink in. 75%. A healthier diet can reduce your risk of depression by a staggering 35%. Therapy. 60 to 80% effectiveness. And sometimes, even addressing something as fundamental as insomnia, treating it directly, can completely resolve depression in a remarkable 87% of sufferers. Light therapy, meditation, these aren't just alternative treatments. They can be more effective than medication for some. But here's the snag, the common stumbling block. All of these improvements demand change. And when you're already struggling, feeling overwhelmed by anxiety or weighed down by depression, change feels impossible. It feels like climbing a mountain with lead weights strapped to your ankles. We get motivated, we surge forward with grand plans, a marathon, a grueling gym routine, a restrictive diet. We push, we strive, and for a little while it works. But willpower is a finite resource. It's a fuel that eventually burns out. The bigger the change, the faster the burnout. The harder it gets, not easier. Eventually, that initial motivation fizzles, leaving you exhausted, defeated, and often more discouraged than when you started. Huge changes, while sometimes successful, are rarely sustainable as a sole strategy. They set you up for a fall. It's a cycle of hope and disappointment. I've seen this pattern countless times with my clients, and I actively discourage them from going this route. Because there's a better way. A gentler, more effective way. A way that doesn't rely on sheer force of will, but on building momentum, one tiny step at a time. I want to share with you a philosophy of atomic habits for mental health. Small changes that actually reward you for doing them. Changes that make your life easier, not harder. Changes that build upon themselves, creating a positive snowball effect. Imagine a tiny spark igniting a slow, steady flame. As you feel better, you gain energy. With that energy, you add another small habit. And instead of draining you, it fuels you. You become more resilient, more capable, more alive. Let me tell you a story. The British cycling team was consistently underperforming, despite having ample resources. They were losing badly. Then they brought in a new coach who didn't focus on grueling training or demanding more effort. Instead, he focused on tiny, incremental improvements. He looked for 1% gains in every area. He had the bikes meticulously cleaned and maintained. He adjusted uniforms for comfort. He optimized sleep patterns. These weren't heroic feats. They were small, almost insignificant adjustments. The result? Astonishing. The team went from being one of the worst to winning the most gold medals at the 2008 Olympics and dominating the Tour de France. James Clear, in his incredible book Atomic Habits, explains the power of this approach. A 1% improvement every day compounds over time, leading to a 37 times improvement by the end of the year. That's not linear progress, that's exponential growth. Most of us try to make gigantic leaps, aiming for overnight transformations. But those leaps are unsustainable. They require too much energy, too much willpower. When you want to improve your mental health, don't aim for monumental change. Don't fall into the trap of overwhelming yourself. I implore my clients to avoid it. Instead, choose tiny habits that make your life easier over time. Let those changes snowball. Think of it like this. In January, you start taking a daily multivitamin. It gives you just a 1% boost in energy. In February, with that extra energy, you set a healthy boundary at work. No emails after 5 p.m. That frees up mental space, giving you another 1% boost. In March, you add a 10-minute walk to your day. Exercise improves your sleep, and better sleep gives you another 1% increase. In April, that 1% builds upon the others. Each small change creates a ripple effect, making you a little healthier, a little more energetic, and a little more resilient. By May, you're experiencing a 5% improvement, equivalent to over 72 extra minutes of energy compared to January. And with those 72 minutes, you have the capacity to add even more small changes. This is how you escape the rut of depression. This is how you build a life that supports your well-being. It's far more effective than a restrictive diet abandoned by February, a diet that left you feeling worse about yourself than before. I've developed an entire course, Change of Brain, 10 essential mind-body skills for mental health, that dives deep into this approach. It's a comprehensive guide to creating lasting, impactful change. But for this conversation, I want to give you a toolkit, about 30 ideas for your first 1% change. But first, let's establish 3 guiding principles. First, pick the low-hanging fruit. Start with the easiest change, the one that requires the least effort or brings you the most joy. If you love to exercise, start there. If exercise feels daunting, begin with something gentler like light therapy. If social interaction energizes you, prioritize connecting with loved ones. If it drains you, focus on a change to your diet. The principle is simple. Start with the simplest, most accessible change. It's a springboard for future progress. Second, create a system to make the new action easier, not harder. Taking medication can be beneficial, but remembering to take it consistently can be a challenge. A system could be a pill box, a reminder on your phone, or simply placing the medication on your breakfast table. The goal is to remove friction, to automate the process so it requires minimal conscious effort. And third, track your progress. Use a habit tracker and set a 30-day goal. A simple checkmark for each day you complete the habit is incredibly powerful. Jerry Seinfeld famously used a calendar and a big red X to track his daily joke writing. That visual representation of progress kept him motivated. You can use a similar method or download a habit tracking app. Atomic Habits is a fantastic resource for learning more about this technique. Now let's get to the ideas. 30 tiny changes that can improve your mental health. Start with light therapy. It's surprisingly effective, often comparable to antidepressant medication. A light box, used for just 10 minutes each morning, can make a world of difference. Or simply open your curtains and let the sunlight in. Consider supplementing with a multivitamin or a multimineral. Research suggests it can be beneficial. Add a fermented food like yogurt or kimchi to your diet, or explore probiotic supplements. Get outside. Even a short walk in nature can lower cortisol levels and reduce stress. Incorporate one extra vegetable into each meal. Keep pre-cut veggies on hand for convenience. Practice daily gratitude. Make it a ritual journal, share with a friend, or use a gratitude app. Express appreciation to someone you care about. Tell your partner, your child, a coworker. Let them know what you value about them. Watch less news and replace it with something positive. Follow uplifting accounts on social media. Unfollow accounts that contribute to negativity. Prioritize sleep. It might feel impossible, but small changes can add up. Wake up at the same time every morning. Reduce your caffeine intake. Use your bed only for sleep. Set a do not disturb mode on your phone at night. Practice mindfulness, even for a few moments each day. Pay attention to your breath while driving. Slow down and savor everyday experiences. Set limits on your screen time. Keep a book by your bed instead of your phone. Try a brain dump. Write down all your thoughts and worries to clear your mind. Do a 1-minute meditation. There are countless guided meditations available online. During your work break, go for a walk or stretch instead of scrolling through your phone. Set a daily step goal. Practice self-regulation techniques like deep breathing or tapping. Spend time in nature. Bring a plant into your home. Display nature photos. Follow nature photographers on social media. Deepen your relationships. Send a text message. Plan a lunch date. Call a friend or family member. Set a reminder to connect with someone you care about. Establish tiny rules for yourself. Don't call yourself names. Avoid using absolutes like always or never. Replace black and white thinking with nuance. Catch yourself catastrophizing and reframe your thoughts with courage and a growth mindset. Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "I haven't figured it out yet." These are just starting points. Don't try to do them all at once. Pick one, just one, that resonates with you. Focus on that single change until it feels easy, until it becomes a habit. Then add another. And another. The power of tiny changes is not in the individual act, but in the cumulative effect. It's about building momentum, creating a positive feedback loop, and transforming your life one small step at a time. I truly hope these ideas inspire you. Remember, lasting change isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistent, incremental progress. Let's get better at feeling. Thank you for listening and take care.